Idlewild, Pine Cove, and Fern Valley are three adjacent unincorporated communities, of which Idyllwild is the largest, located in the San Jacinto Mountains in Riverside County, California. The Idyllwild community also generally includes the hamlets of Mountain Center and Garner Valley, though individual residents embrace this association to varying degrees.
To think about it was like a movie.
It's a very unique community. The last place you'd expect.
Mile High Idyllwild is a popular Southern California mountain resort about 1 mile in altitude. Idyllwild is flanked by two large rocks, Tahquitz Peak with nearby Lily Rock and Suicide Rock, which are famous in Southern California rock climbing circles. One of Idyllwild's attractions is that it offers all 4 seasons, yet in winter is only an hour's drive down to the desert on the Pines to Palms Scenic Byway. It currently offers no skiing, thus the hill has been minimally developed over the years and remains a center for hiking, mountain and rock climbing, and horseback riding. Idyllwild was known originally as Strawberry Valley because of the wild strawberries that grow there, especially beside Strawberry Creek that runs through the town. Strawberry Valley, later the location town of Idyllwild, came by its name in the 1860s. When settlers first began putting down roots in that area, they found a delicacy the Cahuilla Indians had discovered long before. The area was carpeted in wild strawberry vines and their delicious fruit. Strawberry Valley was a lovely place to visit, particularly in the summer, but it was very hard to get to. This problem was partially solved in 1875 when San Jacinto Valley resident Joseph Crawford and his partners built a toll road from San Jacinto Valley to Strawberry Valley. The toll road opened in May 1876. Though it had several sections that had grades of 25% or more, it still allowed many more people access to Strawberry Valley and the San Jacinto Mountains. At first, this road was primarily used by the lumbering operations, which were harvesting trees that grew in the mountain forests. This lumber was brought down the mountain to build railroads, homes, businesses, and crates for the growing orange industry in Riverside County. Many years ago, a story was written by Waldo Marcus about his 102-mile journey with 2 of his friends to Strawberry Valley, the present-day Idyllwild area, in 1877. That June, Marcus and his party left their homes in Westminster and headed east. They spent their first night in Santa Ana Canyon, their second camping along the Upper Canal in Riverside, and the third in San Jacinto. Though the journey today would take about 2 or 3 hours, it was only on the party's 4th day that the members began their ascent into the mountains. When they began their climb, they encountered a man along the road. They asked him if the pass on up the mountain was steep. "Steep? Why, it's so steep that in some places it leans over," replied the man. Undaunted, the group paid the fee. At this time, the road from San Jacinto into the mountains was Crawford's toll road, and began the ascent. 5.5 hours were consumed in making the 2.25 miles of the steep part of the grade, Marcus reported. When they finally came to the beginning of the timberline, Marcus commented on the vast expanses of oak, cedar, and pine, unmarred by the destructive hand of man. Manzanitas, ferns, wild strawberries, and other plants characterized the area where the trio traveled. In addition, bears, mountain lions, deers, and foxes were to be seen in abundance. One bit of fauna troubled Marcus years later when telling his story, what they called the Black Rattlesnake. In fact, the group stopped early that day to erect a platform made from downed branches and ferns so they could sleep several feet in the air and not be troubled by the rattlers. There were very few people living in the San Jacinto Mountains at the time, but Marcus mentioned running into a couple of men from Riverside who were trying to start a lumber operation. That operation eventually failed, much to Marcus' pleasure. He talked about a few other cabins, some other inhabitants, and also Miss Pierce and her 2 daughters. The only other person he mentioned living in the region was Charles Thompson of the Thompson, now Garner Valley. After a month or so, the group decided to leave. Because the road down the mountain was so steep, they had to set the brake on the wagon the entire way down. The group also tied a small brushy oak to the back of the wagon to act as a drag. Eventually the group made it down the mountain safely. Marcus' story, written 55 years later, must have seemed a lifetime away, as it does now nearly 140 years ago.